All right, everybody. We're going live.
We're doing
Welcome.
it live.
Yeah, I think we got it right. So if we
Are
don't,
we live?
let us let us know because we're trying. We're trying.
All right, we're doing it
So
live. I'm waiting for the picture to come up so I can see what's happening. Hey, there we are. All of us are there.
yes,
Then YouTube hasn't popped up yet, but that's okay. We'll get there.
yeah, we'll see. It's probably all screwed up again.
We have to cancel everything again.
Nope, live now. There it is.
Is it?
Yep, I have to. I'm getting feedback. Okay.
Shoot.
I'm gonna
Don't do
refresh
that.
the page.
Pop out chat for YouTube.
There it is. Nice. Okay, cool.
Chat settings.
We are live everywhere. Okay, so I can flip between those as needed.
Live and in your bedroom. That sounded creepy. But we are in Matt's bedroom.
You're in my bedroom.
Welcome to my dining room.
In my office, which is Herbert.
Yeah, we're all in a different part of a house. Well, not the same house. Well, except me and Brandon. In the same house.
Yeah. All right, so I got the YouTube and Twitch chat up, and they're over there on the laptop, and then I got all this stuff up here. I can see the stream, so we're going good. Drinking some margaritas.
I don't have any margaritas.
I think Liz froze.
Oh yeah, Liz is frozen.
So
See
she's
the
froze.
face. So,
Yeah,
we've been talking about doing this for a couple of years.
a while. Yeah, a lot. And we basically
Now we're doing it.
are doing it. And we're doing it live.
How about now? Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
you're
were
not
frozen.
now.
You were like, but you're back. Nope, you're frozen again. Oh, you froze.
Right, because
You're not frozen.
in the dining room, and I'm frozen.
You're not frozen.
All right, so this is our first time. Obviously, we're not super prepared
Yeah, at
for
all.
this. We're gonna kind of wing it, but it's something we've wanted to do for a while. So, what the hell is going on down here?
I don't know. See if that showed up. I just wrote welcome everybody on the YouTube chat.
Nice, I see that. So yeah, in the future, we probably won't do these live all the time, but
But you never know.
starting out,
That's right. We might do it. We might not.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Yeah, if you see me glancing down, it's because I'm looking at my handy dandy notebook that I've. Oh, we lost Liz.
Yep. Yeah, I just notified that we went live on Twitch.
Yeah, she's still frozen on YouTube, but we lost her.
Yeah. It still says category Fortnite. So apparently we're playing Fortnite on Twitch.
Now, Twitch is showing me the categories talk shows and podcasts.
Really? Let me update this.
Yeah, so it's showing up.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. It is.
All right. So, yeah, man. How's your day going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Looking to buy some property. Gonna build a compound so we can go hide under the ground, 200 or 300 feet, in a giant metal box.
300 feet. But then you'll become part of the deep state.
Except I won't be a part of the deep state because that's just creepy.
Yeah.
So,
just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah. So, so what are we doing? What are we going to talk about?
I don't know, man. Ohio just extended their stay-at-home order until the 29th of May.
Yeah.
So that's super fun. But we get to start wearing masks at work on Monday, so that'll be terrible. Not looking forward to that, man. No, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, it is gonna suck real bad.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. So we had a few things we were thinking about talking about. I don't know if anybody's heard, I'm sure you have, if you've watched anything other than the mainstream media, stuff about QAnon and all this conspiracy theory stuff. And
Oh yeah,
like
it's
we've been
all
talking
over.
a lot about it, behind the scenes at work on our free time. Some of that though, it's like almost like beating a dead horse, only because every new podcaster, every American themed podcast, they're all talking about it. I
Yeah,
I kind of want to talk about it, but I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like I said, like part of me wants to kind of go off topic a little bit and talk about some other random stuff that may or may not have to do with that. It might behind the scenes, but not necessarily up front and in your face, like what we're being told. I don't want to be like the David Wilcock who said, "Hey, everybody, we're gonna shut down this weekend and no internet or phones." And then 2 weeks later, everybody's still looking at their watch, going, "You're a little late, buddy."
yeah. Well, in case people don't know what you're talking about, there's a guy named David Wilcock. Is it Wilcock or Wilcox? It's Wilcock,
It's
right?
Wilcock.
He worked for an organization called Gaia for a while. Then he didn't like some of the happenings, so he left, and he's got supposed contacts in different uh, organizations, military, FBI, what have you, and he claims to have inside information about things going on and getting
This is guy I
that's him
just kind of dragged in here. That's the
getting
guy we're talking about.
death threats and getting followed and having strange things happen because he knows too much. I mean, is it true? I have no way of knowing that. Maybe that's another one of those conspiracy theories. Like anything that we talk about, we can't say for sure it's 100% true, right?
That's right.
But we're gonna present it because we like to talk about it. We find it interesting, uh, so that's why we're doing this.
Yeah. So with that though, there's some new show that kind of started up on a History Channel that I think's pretty cool. I don't know if you've heard of it or anybody's heard. It's called the Secret of Skywalker Ranch.
Skinwalker.
Skinwalker. Whatever. Like I said, I'm drinking margarita. So let's
The Skywalker Ranch.
yeah, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking
Lost
about.
Star Wars Episode 9
It is.
and a half.
It actually was the sequel to the third one. So basically, it's about this ranch that is somewhere in Utah that all this crazy random stuff's been happening. Um, I've heard about it on and off through random like conspiracy shows or whatever, because it has to do with UFOs and Bigfoot and the Skinwalker, which is uh, a Native American legend of a guy who eats his family or kills his family, and he gets powers where he can shapeshift like a werewolf, or turn into a sheep or a coyote or monsters. Basically, just to do whatever he wants to do, and it's usually bad stuff. He's got ill intent. So. Um, this ranch in Utah basically has all of this information and all this happenings like rampant. And there was actually a guy named Bob Bigelow who um, owns like aerospace companies, stuff like that. He bought it and did like research on it for like 10 or 15 years. And nobody's really heard of what came out of that research. There was a family that lived on the ranch and they got drove out because of stuff that happened. All their cattle got mutilated.
Yeah.
They saw shadow men. They saw UFOs. They saw wolves, like dire wolves, like huge wolves. They've seen Bigfoot-like creatures. Uh, Stuff would get missing. They'd see portals and orbs fly through the sky. Well, this show, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, it's got a team of scientists, and basically, uh, when Bigelow sold the company or sold the property to a guy named Brandon Fugel, he got his own crew of scientists, and there's 3 episodes up right now. If you got Hulu or you subscribe to any kind of cable subscription that has access to it, you can get on the history app and look at them. If you don't have them DVR'd or whatever, but they're finding a bunch of random stuff with the property. Seems like there's something huge buried underground, and it also seems like there's something like up in the sky, something invisible that's sending off massive amounts of microwave radiation. Um, so, oh,
That's
okay,
crazy.
so looks like Liz is back on. So there she is. That work?
She's back.
Hello?
Did she move?
She said she's trying to get back on. She's not on. Ron
Oh,
Burgundy? Hello?
there we go.
Okay.
I'm
No,
back.
no video,
Let
but you
me get
got
the
audio.
video.
Oh, wait, here it comes.
There it is. Yeah, I had to move upstairs because
Yeah, I
I
figured you
think it was the
guys'
internet.
Yeah.
The dining rooms.
dining room's not gonna be a good place to do
Mm-mm.
that.
So yeah, we
When
were
I
just
don't
talking
have a
about
place to call my own.
the Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hotbed
She's
of
like, no.
paranormal activity.
Yeah. Well, we were talking. Well,
No.
I mentioned that there's aliens, portals, skinwalkers, and I kind of gave a real quick thing about what that was.
Well, my
Bigfoot,
boss sent me that
direwolves.
video, but
What
Brandon
video?
thinks it's a spider walking across camera. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
If
Bigger,
you
bigger.
can,
You have to share it in the Discord. It might not.
yeah.
Can I?
Same thing with the. Let's
Yeah,
see if
just
I
if you can pull it up on your computer, just drop it into the Discord, and then
Okay, I'll have to
Brandon
send it
can
to myself
show.
via email.
see if I can see what Mike sent me of his Bigfoot creature.
While they're looking that up, um, we're talking about shadow people, and so a couple weeks ago I was driving to work, and it was I work third shifts. I'm going in at nighttime, and I've never seen that I know of anything like that, like
Yeah.
shadowy figures that shouldn't be there, you know.
Yeah.
And as I'm driving up the highway, I see this shadow go across the road. It wasn't an animal because it was like an amorphous blobby shape. It moved quickly. It kind of came over the one side, kind of drifted across and went up and off into the distance. Kind of freaked me out a little bit, but yeah, that was just a little personal experience that I had recently.
So speaking of shadow
Although,
people, I just uploaded. Are they both up there? This is kind of like my brother sent me this. Him and his family went on a trip cross country. Let's see if I can open the original. Yeah, there's a bigger. So if you can see that, we got let's make it big. You have this tree. He's got a big tree line, and in the tree line, he sees this shadowy figure, and it's kind of uh
how far away was he
he was
from
really
that?
far away. Here, I'll show you the. I'll send in the original picture he sent me. So where is he? So yeah, again, this is the first one that we've done, guys. So we're not super prepared, but
Yeah, so just bear with us. Like I said, we're just a couple of nerds.
ah, if you hold I didn't know this. If you hold it, he's got a. All right, let's do this. Copy. Can I send that to Discord? I can.
Oh shoot!
Post.
I need to go on my Hotmail, not that Hotmail.
I can send it straight to. So here's a picture of that shadow person, right? So, and here's kind of a zoomed in picture of the shadow person,
Okay.
so you can see that. And then I'm trying to send. Unable to share. All right, so let's save this. Let's copy it. We're gonna copy it, and then we're gonna put it in Discord this way. Paste. It might work. It looks like it's downloading. So, yep, there it is. So this is the picture they took of the tree line as they pulled up. I guess they pulled over where
Oh,
the kids had to
weird.
pee. So there's this
How
big
do
tree
you? Where
line.
do you go to see it?
It's in the podcast channel. Can
It's
you
gonna be
Which
near the
the
bottom.
is
text? It's at the very bottom, like in we're in. So you have the members leaders podcast and members leaders podcast for text and then voice.
on Discord.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Scroll
I don't
towards the
see what you're
bottom
talking about.
of the AFH Gaming Discord. Yeah,
I'm
so you
at the
can't even
very
really
bottom.
see anything in that picture.
All right. So hold on.
Like
Let me.
you can kind of see
Remember?
that black shape, but then that's like a. It's got some depth to it. I'm thinking, well, maybe it was just like a cutout, but it's an actual. Did they? And so he didn't see it when he took the picture. I'm assuming, right?
Right. And she got kicked out. All right. Did you click on the podcast text?
Yeah, where it says podcast.
And did you see the pictures?
No. I don't even have video. How do I get my video back? There it is.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
I'm clicking on the word podcast. Right?
That just takes you to the text channel. Yeah.
Or screen? No.
Now try it.
Oh.
With that, it'll say like hashtag podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, click on that.
Okay.
So then you have the three pictures I
And
just
then I
put in
got
there.
to scroll down. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Now it's there.
the picture at the very bottom, that if you click on that, that's the picture of the tree line that they saw.
Is this at his property or
No,
so? Where was this at?
this was in
No,
West
this was in West
Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah,
Okay.
last summer they took a cross country trip and took a bunch of like scenery pictures. So he took a live picture, which I can't show that for some reason. But the live picture is if I hold it down,
It'll move.
it moves, and
If
it's
you hold it up to the camera, would that show it, or would it look? Would it probably wouldn't?
Yeah, this is
translate real well.
crazy though. It's like you can't see a face or anything.
so I don't know if I can do this. So I'll
Like you can't see any details. It's just black.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it.
ah crap! I just turned off my camera. All right, so if I hold this up
It's
here,
crazy looking.
actually let me turn this off real fast, so you guys can see. Can you see it? So right down here. See it?
Oh, it
Right
moved
there.
behind the tree. Yeah, it moved behind the
Oh,
tree.
So he's like, I don't know if that's a shadow person or a Bigfoot, but it clearly is standing behind, like out from behind the tree, and then goes behind it.
It moves.
Yes.
Yeah, that's freaky.
So he was like, "Oh man, check this out!" Like that was last summer, and he just sent me that
just
found
noticed it.
Monday.
Crazy.
So what do I do if I want to add something? Do I just like
Just drop it into the. So, like, if you want to put a picture in there or a video,
yeah, I gotta find it
just
first.
Yeah,
throw it
if
in.
it's
That's like
on
I
your
put those.
if it's on your phone, you can open the Discord app. That's what I did with those pictures. I just uploaded them via the Discord app on my phone because everything's on there.
That's why, like, I dropped those pictures into the Discord because I was like, well, maybe we'll talk about whatever, you know.
How do I add something in a Discord?
So see the little plus
The
sign?
plus that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
And then when you want to like view the camera again of
download.
us sitting here, then you would hit the podcast video channel. Because if you hit the
Open.
video down at the bottom, it'll turn off your camera.
Upload.
So,
Oh,
So this is a video my boss sent that was on her outdoor camera,
all right. So
like
let's
her porch cam.
you can see the shadow here, and then it moves this way.
But it moves in front of the post,
Yeah. So yeah,
if that makes sense. Like
I didn't know if that was like a shadow person or ghost or whatever, but or in my opinion, it could be a spider. Because if you look, the shadow seems to go from the crack in the sidewalk to the tree, and then as it moves across, it's almost like as it moves in front of the post.
You can kind of see it might be like the butt of a spider if you can look at it again.
So if you look at like 3, 4 seconds, I'm trying to like look at frame by frame
I
almost.
wonder if we can
Yeah,
do a
it does
slow
kind of look
mo.
like does kind of look like a spider body.
But it's so close. It's like it's blurred out.
Yeah.
Like that's something that it could be, and that's the scientific rational mind trying to make out what
Right.
that is.
Right. I mean, it's definitely weird, and it looks at if the very far right side of the screen was cut off and you didn't see that post, that'd freak me out for sure. But it's like it
Once
looks
it
like
gets full across the post, it looks like a spider butt.
All
yeah,
right, all
when
right.
it
You
hits
see
right in
the
front of the white.
stream and see where I'm circling with my cursor.
Yeah.
Watch there towards the end of the video.
Okay.
So right in this area. So you're going to see the shadow move, and then continue looking at that spot.
Oh, something else popped up. Was that
Something
just an artifact?
I don't know. It's like something pixelates right there, and it
Like
looks
it
like it
moved
moves.
down. It
Yeah,
started and it kind of came down towards the.
towards the house.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, she sent me that and was like, "I knew you would like
Did
this."
she probably didn't notice the thing at the end?
Should we show
I
him
don't
the
know.
orb?
No,
I'm,
no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you told him.
I told him about
No,
it.
what are you talking about?
I didn't show him.
Trouble.
So
Weird. That was weird though. The end was even more interesting than the shadow that goes across the front. That's kind of cool.
yeah, it was a little different.
So a little more about the video we can't show. An orb comes out of my body physically. You can see it and flies past the camera.
Yeah.
And it moves in like a swoopy motion. Like
Yeah.
it's not even straight trajectory.
Yeah, and some
it's
of
going
the things that
and down.
like let me see if I can find
Up and down.
video of orb rod. Is that what they're called?
What?
Orbs and rods. I think they're two different things.
Doesn't sound good.
So
But yeah, so it's like
yeah,
there's
so right
nothing
there.
there.
So
There's nothing there, and then it appears out of me, like shoop, it just comes at me.
So it's like here's a random video on YouTube. I just searched whatever orb and rod, and it's like see that thing right
Mhm.
there. Some people say, well, that's just a bug going really fast. And when you're in an outside nature, like a nature shot, it could be. You know that little thing. It could be a bug because you're outside. Well, we were in our house, so it's not like it came from out of picture into picture. It literally manifested out of her back, and then flew up by my face.
Yeah, that's weird.
My gosh.
But it started as a little dot. Now again, in the moment we were while we were in the moment, you couldn't see anything.
Right.
And it wasn't until later on, and I just saw like a little swoosh go by, and I thought it might have been dust because we have a ceiling fan above us.
Yeah, like a year later.
Right, and then a year later, we were looking at it together, and we saw. She's like, "Hey, what's that on my back?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." So we slowed it down. We looked at it, and we, really went into detail of what this stuff was. And it started as a dot, and then came out, and then as it came out of the back, it turned into like a rod. And
it had a swoopy trajectory. It didn't even go like straight, and it went upward and downward and then upward again.
Yeah.
We didn't get started right away. Sorry, I had to talk to the wife.
Is she gonna get a computer so she can join?
She could Get on my laptop probably.
So you are on your desktop.
Yeah, I'm in my office slash bedroom, and you can see behind me very clearly
I did.
all the
You had talked about possibly being on your laptop. I figured that when you said
yeah,
that, you
just
might have just had that
with it
upstairs.
with it being an earlier, before the kids go to bed and stuff, they would be up and down. It would be kind of a hassle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. So, yeah, now what are we going to talk about?
So Twitch is either frozen or
That looks good on
So
mine.
what about other paranormal
or they're doing two
experiences?
different things.
Well, I got
Anybody
one.
have any other? What's
Yeah,
that?
when I was
Oh, there we go.
4 or 5 years old, I remember waking up in the I don't know, 6, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was asleep. My brother was asleep. My parents were asleep, and I remember going and eating kicks and putting way too much sugar on it. My mom used to have those uh, baking canisters or whatever, and they had different things on
Yeah.
it and the different sizes. So I got the sugar on my kicks. I sat down at the table, and as I'm sitting there eating, I notice something out of the corner of my eye, and to my right is the doorway between the kitchen and the living room. And as I'm sitting there and I notice something in the doorway, I kind of look, and you know how you always most people say when they see shadow people or something, a like they see it in the peripheral, but when they look at it, it goes away.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
some most people
When they
won't know.
really focus.
When I focused, looked at the doorway, there was this dark black figure, and when I say figure, I mean like it was solid. It was a 3D solid figure. I couldn't see detail. Its head looked weird. It looked like Black Manus from the Aquaman movie, like that shape. And then, but the arms and the legs faded into nothing. And they didn't have like a typical arm, like shoulder and biceps and forearm. Like they didn't have the shape of an arm, but it was more of just like when the arms came down off the shoulders, it was just like a trunk that came down.
Like, was
And
it wispy?
yes, it was like the end, like the bottom half of of a Dementor from Harry Potter. It was just like flowing into nothing. And
Huh.
then the legs were the same way, and it filled the entire doorway. So I'm sitting there eating, and I was like, "Well, that's scary, but I'm just gonna eat." So I stopped looking at it, and I was just looking at my cereal, and the whole time I could see it in my peripheral. Um, and as I got up to put my bowl in the sink, I noticed it's like I couldn't see detail, but I noticed it moved with me. Like if I'm sitting there like this and it's in the window or it's in the doorway, I could see it like position itself so it's like following me. Um
It's tracking you.
yeah. So I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I'm gonna die.
And I'm like, I
I'm
said
gonna
I'm 4,
die.
5, 6 years old, and so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed. The other doorway out of the kitchen went into the laundry room, which connected to the bathroom to my parents' room, and I wasn't going to go that way because my dad was going to whip me if I woke him up. So, so I'm like, all right, so I got to go to my bedroom, which is through the kitchen or through the kitchen living room doorway, and then down the hall into my bedroom. So we get I get to the doorway, and I get to where it's like right here in front of me, like, and I'm probably at like right below where like the crotch area would be for this creature or whatever. And I can sense that there was a present there, like a presence. And you know how like if you get too close to somebody, it's like you can feel you're in the personal space. It was
Yeah.
like that. And knowing that
Magnetic field
there
type
wasn't
thing.
there wasn't there wasn't anything there physically, but I knew something was there. I just closed my eyes and ran straight to my bedroom and jumped in my bed. And as soon as I got to my bed, I just started saying Jesus over and over and over again. And and then I eventually fell asleep. Um, but that house was really creepy because I remember also seeing like giant, like dog-sized spiders,
Ew.
like like a Minecraft spider. If you guys have seen the spiders in Minecraft, like that, and some of them had green eyes, some of them had red eyes, like glowing, like LED type eyes, but they were one dimensional. They weren't three dimensional. So it's like they were just like on the walls or on the floor. And if they went up on, it's like a shadow would. It would go up, um, go up a wall or go on the floor without being an object. And they would like if you're looking at it and it went underneath like the TV, it would literally go under the TV like a shadow or a piece of paper if you slid it under the TV. Um, Years later, talking with my mom, found out she used to see those spider things all the time. Um, and that was like the beginning of me seeing these shadow creatures. And I always thought it was interesting because I don't know if you guys remember the TV show Punky Brewster.
Yes,
Mhm.
we had a Punky Brewster backpack.
There was an episode where her and her family went on a hike or something, and she got lost. And maybe this was a dream, but I remember seeing this. It was a two-part episode, I'm pretty sure, and she got lost in the woods with her dog.
I
She
can
had,
search it.
she had like a golden retriever or something like that, and then they find this cave. But as they go through this cave, they see these creatures, these black creatures with different colored eyes, like popping up in and out of these like little craters inside this cave. Um,
Okay.
Kind of like the old whack a mole game. Like
Yeah.
it was like that, but they were like big like her. And I just remember her like cuddling up next to her dog, and her dog would bark, and then they'd go in their holes, and then she'd keep going past, and she got lost in the cave, and then it was like
Hmm.
to be continued, and I never got to see the next episode. But like I related to that because of what I was seeing around my house. Now, again, that might have been my brain trying to rationalize what I was seeing.
Dude, this is creepy. I searched and the first video that came up was an episode called I Love You, Brandon.
Well, I love you too. So,
Now it's the name of a Punky Brewster episode.
well, um,
She is
what?
abandoned with her dog. Her dog's name's Brandon.
Well, maybe it was beyond just me thinking about whatever.
Weird. List of Punky Brewster episodes.
But
Very strange.
so then that, and then as I grew up and whatever matured and stuff throughout grade school, junior high, I would randomly see figures, and most of them were again that what do you want to call it? Those out of peripherals, and they just go away when you actually look. Until I remember I was driving to work one day, and it was dark out because I worked a late third shift. It was like 9 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. Um, and I was driving and I saw somebody walking across the road. And when I looked at them, it was the same type of black figure that I saw when I was a little kid, as far as a solid black mass with arms and legs. And again, the arms and legs just faded into nothing. This one's head was different. It was almost like a Bart Simpson head, like a it was thin with like a spiky-ish top. Again, no features. And once it hit the road, because it was walking over a median, because this was like a two-lane road with a big median, big grassy median in the middle. Once it got over the median and like stepped into the road, even though it wasn't stepping because it didn't have feet, it literally turned and looked at me like the Patterson Gimli photo of Bigfoot. It like turned at me like that. Um, and then it got down on all fours and ran across the street and it literally vaporized into nothing as it crossed after it crossed the street. So it like went from person to
It
dog.
was real, Brandon.
It was.
It's called The Perils of Punky Part 1 and The Perils of Punky Part 2.
I'll have to watch part two because I don't remember part two. Ever seen part two?
The evil spirit. Something about an evil spirit. Conducts a
Oh, sounds
campaign of fear through giant spiders
Sounds about right.
disappearing friends and other things. Yeah.
Sounds creepy as shit for a kid show.
Kids show, I know, right? It talks about some cave, and it says the cave proves to be not quite abandoned, and the inhabitants divine that Punky is a successor to Princess Moon, who has been foretold to defeat the evil Owatagu Siam. After Punky and the gang are sent off deeper into the cave, their first look at what the evil spirit can do is horrifying them.
Well, look, kids, don't go into caves, okay? Because
And don't watch Punky Brewster
don't watch
unless you want
that
nightmares.
particular Punky Brewster episode because
All the other
that
ones
sounds like
were
it would
like
be terrifying for me to
innocent,
watch.
innocent little
I
kid
know,
Yeah.
it's
shows.
like, "Just say no," and "A trip
Yeah,
to the doctor,"
I
"Punky's
remember.
Treehouse."
I remember watching Punky Brewster.
And yeah, and then like I said, then there was that one dark episode, and I'm like, weird. This
You're
is
like, "What the
really,
hell
really
happened?"
weird. Yeah, yeah. I was really, really confused, and I'm like,
This
okay,
this podcast has taken a turn to Punky Brewster that I did not expect it to take.
Where do you see this going? Not to Punky Brewster.
Not there. That's not what.
Not to
where I
80s
saw it.
family television.
80s children television.
80s.
It's
Man, I do remember watching that show though. I don't remember that episode. I don't know if I ever watched that one.
I say I never saw the second one. If you got that link it in the podcast thing so I can watch it later.
Well, it just shows I just looked at the list of episodes for that to find that one. But you could probably look up the title, The Perils of Punky.
The Perils of Punky. Guys, if you're a Punky Brewster fan, Perils of Punky Part 1 and Part 2. Watch it,
Check it
but
out.
don't let your kids watch it.
Yahoo
Because they'll have
TV.
nightmares of
Scar 'em,
spiders like
scar 'em for
Brandon.
life, you know?
Like me, and remember when we were playing D&D and I figured out why I had that green donut dream? Because
Oh
of
man, the no
Trolls,
bog.
the movie Trolls 2.
Bugs. Yeah,
Dude, that was messed up. I kept having this dream that
I remember
I
that.
started when I was about 5 years old having it. My mom would take me to the bowling alley, and it was the bowling alley we would really go to in real life. There was a little childcare area where someone would babysit the kids while like moms would bowl. And in my dream, my mom would drop me off in there, and when I would get in there, there were all these children piled up in a big pile on the floor asleep. And the women that were working in there would like offer the kids as they came in a green donut. And I kind of watched from afar and like saw them like giving some kid a green donut, and then he just passed out and they just threw his body on the pile. And so I found this like trunk in the corner and I kind of like hid in it until all the kids were asleep in a big old pile and the women just left. So I was like, okay. So I finally found out it was safe to come out of the trunk. I went up to the desk because I couldn't find my mom, and the lady was there. And she was like, "Oh, your mom just left." And I was like, "What? She left me at the bowling alley? I'm freaking 5 years old." And so then I walk outside, and I'm going to the parking lot looking for her car, and a police car rolls up, and the guy that came up in the police car was like, "Hey, what's going on, little girl? Where's your mom?" And I'm like, "She left me at the bowling alley. I don't know." And he says, "Well, come on, get inside and I'll drive you home. Where do you live?" So I didn't know my address at the time. So I kind of just like told him what roads to go to get there. And when we got to the house, he was like, "Oh, I have a little parting gift for you." And it was a green donut. And I was like, "Ah!" So I like jumped out of the car. For some reason, I didn't go in my house. I went in the neighbor's house because I saw that her car was there. And so I went into the neighbor's house and I was like, "Help me, Sheila. Like my mom like left me at the bowling alley and everybody there was trying to give me green donuts, making me fall asleep." And I told her about the police officer and she goes, "Oh, well then you won't like what we're having for lunch then." And she had his tray of green donuts. And I was like, "What?"
Green donuts. So watch out for
Yeah.
green donuts and
Nilbog.
Punky Brewster.
Well, yeah, and then finally I got home to my mom and she was washing dishes at the sink and I was like, "Mom, you left me at the bowling alley. What is going on?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I just must have forgot. I was so focused on what I needed to make you for a snack." And she turned around and she had green donuts and I was like,
She wants
and
to
I
make
woke up.
you for a snack.
Yeah.
She's
So
part of
so
the deep state.
but what it was is we were talking about that or that Trolls. Trolls
Yeah.
was it Troll 2?
Is
Troll
that what it
2.
was called?
Was
Something
I
like
just
that.
remember the little kid jumping up on the table and peeing all over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Trolls 2, and they were in a town. It was called Neilbog, and he looked in the
Neil Bog.
mirror of a
And he saw
truck,
it was
and he saw
goblin
that it was
spelled
goblins
backwards.
spelled
Yeah.
backwards. And these people, they look like regular people, but they were giving people this green food, and it was making them fall asleep, and when they fell asleep, they would eat them.
Such a
So,
bad movie. Just
it was terrible, but
terrible.
it made me have nightmares as a child. I
I can
remembered it, even
understand
though
that. Yeah.
I mean, 5? Who lets a kid watch Trolls 2 at 5?
I
My
want to
parents.
say I did.
Well, I don't think they let me. We had satellite in our basement, and so the TV was, like, just on, and my dad would, like, fall asleep on the couch, and we would just turn on whatever. Like, one night, my mom came home from card club, and I was sitting in the dark at 4 years old watching Nightmare on Elm Street by myself, like, 2 feet away from the TV screen.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a pretty cool cup you got
Yeah,
there.
never had anything like that happen, getting eaten by goblins and trolls and getting green donuts.
Yeah. My family's always had, like, paranormal stuff happen to us. Um, like, my aunt and my sister, me, my brother. My work is, like, a crazy hotspot because 'cause we're right near a cemetery, and we have this ghost we call Claire.
Hello,
She's not, like
Clarice.
yeah, she's not malicious, like, nothing really
So far.
happens that's, like, bad. Um, but, like, she opens and closes our door at the same time when she does it, like, each day that she opens and closes it, it happens at 1:10. Well, it happens at 1:10, it opens, and then we usually close it, and then it opens again at, like, 1:20, 1:30. So, she's only there for, like, 10 minutes and then leaves. But once it did open and close, like, both at once, like,
Yeah.
it opened, we heard it, we saw it opening, and we're like, "What was that?" We kinda, like, craned our necks around to see to the back of the room, and neither of us saw anything, so we thought a kid, like, because 'cause I'm a preschool teacher, so we thought a kid walked out of the classroom, so we started counting heads and making sure everyone was accounted for, and everybody was, and we're like, "Okay, then who just opened our door and closed it?" So, we had, one little girl that was near the front, and then a little boy who was about 10 feet away from the door, and he was staring right at it the whole time it was opening, like, we saw him staring at the door, and, he's a child that doesn't talk a whole lot, like, he barely talks at all, he's 3, and, we walked up to him and we're like, "Hey, little buddy, like, what happened? Like, who came in?" Like, and he goes, "Nobody. It was a ghost." Like,
Gross.
he just went, "Nobody.
Scooby's
It
a
was a
real dog.
ghost." And it's like, before I even talked to him about it, I walked to the door, I looked down both ends of the hallway, and our hallway's pretty long. I mean,
Yeah, it
Brandon, you've
is.
been there.
Yeah.
There was no one at either end, like, anywhere in the hallway. And, like, I coulda swore when I saw it open, I saw, like, a shadow in the window next to the door. Like, somebody was, like, just out of vision of the door, and, like, the light kinda cast a shadow somehow, but, like, it didn't make sense with where the light was coming in the window for it to be a shadow from that direction.
Right.
So, it was creepy for sure. And that same little boy, about 2 weeks later, we had, an officer from, the area come in and read a story to our class, and, I was standing with some of the students, some of the adult students who help out in our classroom,
Yeah.
and we were kinda hanging back a little bit. We were near the cubby room where we hang up our coats, and, I was watching the officer read the book, and I heard a noise behind me in the cubby room, and so I look back, and I see the clothes hangers, like, the coat hangers kinda moving, and, like, I saw a coat fall off one of the hangers, and I was like, "That was weird." I was like, "Ah, maybe it just wasn't hung up right," because we had just come in from outside.
Right.
And so I turned back around, started watching the guy reading the story again, and then I heard a noise again, and this little boy's coat was dragging across the cubby room floor by itself, was just scooting. And me and 2 other adult students, we were all staring at it like, "What is
Shut
happening?"
up.
Well, it was
And
a it was
the
the
one girl
light
was like,
reflecting off of Mars and the swamp gas.
"No." This one girl was like, "Did you just see that?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And I
Yeah,
and I said,
be time to
I might
peace
wanna
out.
mention to you our building's a little haunted." So, the little boy that had seen the ghost that said nobody, it was a ghost. It was his jacket that scooted across the floor. I was like, she chose him.
Ugh, yikes.
And then when I told his mom about it, she goes, it wouldn't be the first time he saw something like that. And I was like, what? And she said that when he was like 2 and his older brother was a little bit older, they were up playing in their bedroom. Actually, I think she said it was her bedroom. And she heard them screaming. And so she ran up the stairs and she got into the room where they were and scooped them up because they were like crying. And the door slammed behind her and she could see the bed denting in over and over again by itself with nobody there.
Yeah, that's kind of like the exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, the
That's when
bed, there
you
was no one
run.
on it.
That's when you run.
The
I don't mess with
kids,
that stuff.
yeah. No, the kids were staring right at the bed. Like they knew that was happening. That's why they were screaming. And the bed was just going whoop, whoop, whoop. And she's like, nope. They went out of the house. They got a priest. He
Yep.
came and
No,
like blessed the house.
you burn that mother to the ground.
Was
Don't ever
like,
go back
it
in.
was
Nah,
deuces. Bye.
man. No, I've never had anything like that happen, but the weirdest, like scariest thing that ever happened, like paranormally to me, a few years, well, more than a few, several years ago, I worked at a call center, Synchrony over there, and I'm sitting there, and I worked like a second shift, but it was like towards the end of the day,
Like a swing
like
shift.
yeah, it was like 11:30 at night. There's no Everyone else
Gross.
got cut. I'm the only person left in my department. There's like maybe 3 people in the entire building,
Yeah.
and it's a huge building. I mean, it's freaking massive. And there was nobody around me. No calls are coming in. I'm just sitting there waiting. All of a sudden, I hear this disembodied, demonic sounding voice call my name. It freaked me out. I stood up and I looked and I was like, there's nobody around. I walked up and down the aisles. There was nobody anywhere. And it wasn't just something I heard in my head. It was like
It was nobody. It was
shouted
a
at me.
ghost.
I was like, what? So I talked to my brother because he's a youth pastor. He's the pastor at, at church. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'll start praying for you. And I've never had anything like that happen again. But I mean, it's like, growing up, I remember you think you hear your name called, in the
Mm-hmm.
distance. It was like that, but it wasn't like a friendly sounding voice
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all. Um,
I used to get that a lot as a kid, but you know what? It doesn't happen as an adult to
no,
me.
and that's the thing. I think as
Just weird.
kids up to a certain
More
age,
in tune.
yes, they haven't. It's like their imagination kind of things kind of spilling out. Like people they have imaginary friends. Well, maybe they're not imaginary. Maybe they're
I had
actually
I had an
friends with.
imaginary friend.
Maybe he
His name
wasn't
was
imaginary.
Jake, but his name was Jake, and I only talked to him when I was in the bathroom.
That's weird.
Well, it was
Jake
because
the
I thought people would think I was crazy if
Jake
I
from
talked to
State
him anywhere
Farm.
else. That was the only time
It's
I was
fucking Jake from
alone.
State Farm.
What are you wearing? Khakis.
Khakis. Real khakis.
She sounds hideous.
So
Because it's a guy.
Because
getting
it's
off the the
khakis.
heebie-jeebie, give me the willies subject here for a minute.
Are you
Did
gonna
you
have
see?
nightmares, Matt?
Yeah, I probably will. Did you see that they're reporting now that within 3 weeks there'll be no pork on the store shelves?
Yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know
that's what
how much I believe that.
I
Because they
they're
also said bananas were gonna go extinct in 5 years. They said that like 3 years ago,
Hey,
and there's still
well.
global
bananas. So many
warming,
This
bananas.
is
acid
because
rain.
this is
Is
because of the
TikTok
pandemic.
is TikTok a
Because they're euthanizing.
Yeah, because there's not enough demand for them to be able to do, and they can't just. I don't know why they can't
No,
just.
it's not that there's not a demand, it's they shut down the thing. Like people can't
Well,
work
okay,
there
yeah, the factories are shut down.
because
Yeah,
500 people got sick at that one.
yeah. So it's like they're not going
So
to be able to stock the shelves, and it's if it's going to happen there, it's going to happen at
they should send them to
beef, and
like they
they're
should send
already
the pigs to butchers and stuff. Like sell them to
well,
butchers.
they should, and then they should stick them in a freezer, and freeze that stuff. And they're also talking about crop shortages and stuff like that. So it's like this, and then I saw a report today that the Dr. Fauci,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm
they're
thinking of
now
Cannabis in
saying,
Combat, what he called him.
what do you call him?
I'm not gonna say it on here.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty rank.
But he's not a good guy. He's definitely got his own agenda. But they're talking about this pandemic's going to last until 2022, and it won't go away until 2/3 of the population is immune. We
It's
won't be able
gonna
to control
be
it.
no, it's gonna be like Spanish flu. Like one day it's just gonna disappear and nobody's gonna know why.
Well, but that might be true, but they're trying to say it's going to last until 2022, and that until 2/3 of the population is immune, they can't control it. It'll be harder to control than the flu, which causes most pandemics. But
The
this one,
flu has caused more deaths than this has.
overall, but this in 2 months time or a month, there's been more reported deaths. Now those deaths are over
No, not
reported,
all of them are from that.
right? Because there have been people coming out saying, "Oh, my grandma or my aunt or my mom died of cancer. She didn't have coronavirus, didn't have COVID-19," and they put that down as the cause of death.
Here, let me do something.
That's shady.
It is. It's
It's
really
actually
shady. It's
pretty.
about money. It's funding. They
Hmm.
every death that they report.
So the death toll is way lower.
Well, like, maybe even higher. We don't know, but if it's been around as long as since October, how many people got sick and died from that almost 6 months ago now
All right,
because
so we
it's
have
been
a.
around.
Is this it? No, I'm trying to
And that
find a.
dude was that dude from Bowling for Soup. He got it. He was on a hike with his fiance in like upstate New York, and then within hours of getting back from the hike, he got like a really high fever, and then he was like sick for like
Weird.
2 weeks with a really high fever, and then he died.
Yeah,
They took him to
I
the
mean
hospital, and he died.
that's crazy.
So he sang that it was it the 1985 song
Oh yeah,
or was it Stacy's mom or I don't
S-
know.
was it both of them?
No, was he the Bowling for Soup or the Fountains of Wayne? I don't know which one he was.
What?
I
His
don't know.
name's Adam something.
Adam Goldberg.
No, Adam F. Goldberg. I think it might be Fountains of Wayne. It's not 1985. I think it's Stacy's mom. They're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable.
Yeah, yeah, it's Fountains of Wayne. Well, they came out around the same time. They had those kind of songs. No, it is. It's Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne. He was
Okay.
also a really like accomplished songwriter. He wrote a bunch of really good songs.
Here's a video.
Is this the one about the doctor or the funeral directors?
Let's see.
So the funeral director thing is crazy. Where they're talking about.
Yeah.
Take a look, everyone.
Fountains
Oh,
of
where's
Wayne
it
is
at?
a
Are
really
you loading it
weird
up?
name for a band. My throat is making weird noises. Excuse me.
If you died of a clear alternate cause than COVID, but you died at the same time, then it's listed as a COVID death.
Oh, so you had to have had COVID?
So she's saying they were being told that even though you had it and you didn't die, they put it on the death certificate. But they're saying to sidestep lying that, well, we're putting on the death certificate just to show that they had the disease, not that they died from the disease.
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't
Which,
make
that
sense.
still results in them
You
getting
can't put that as the cause of death,
right,
though.
right. But that's
right. That
from
still
what she
results
just
in
said. That's
all
what
the
they're being directed
It's
to
not.
put on there.
It's not the cause of death.
yeah, but that's what they're putting
Damn.
down, and it's causing an over inflation of these numbers, and they're going to get more funding
Yeah.
for for the state, or where for that particular hospital. And then you see that they're pushing the remdesivir as the treatment, when they've shown that hydroxychloroquine and, what was it, zinc, the combination of the
Zinc
two,
and Z-Pack.
yeah, has been effective. And the cost of hydroxychloroquine is 10 cents per tablet. You know how much remdesivir costs?
A lot more.
$1,000 a vial.
Yeah.
Who funds the research for that?
Bill Gates.
Oh, good job, Bill Gates. George
Ah!
Soros and the Clintons.
Oh, wow.
George Soros. Didn't
the-
you say that there was rumors he's detained in Switzerland for all these crimes?
Yeah, there's rumors
He's a
that he's
war
being
criminal.
detained in Sweden or Switzerland, and that
Switzerland, I think.
on crimes of treason, money laundering, pedophilia, and human trafficking. But when you look up online, it's
You can't find any
yeah,
concrete.
yeah. It's
hard
either people having
information about it.
petitions for it, or there's people um, trying other people trying to find the information, and then you have fact check websites like Snopes and stuff that are like, oh no, this is all false.
Yeah, and
Which
you
is
can't trust Snopes, because Snopes is Soros is behind that. I
Yeah.
mean, if you follow
Yeah.
the trail back, he's the guy. I mean,
Got his hand in everything.
well,
Literally.
yeah. I mean,
Excuse
that's the way it works.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
There's a lot of misinformation going on about the coronavirus and just in general everything. It's like we're being shown, all this stuff to keep us preoccupied. We're being told, don't leave your house, stay home.
Oh,
Uh,
speaking of that, like 3-4 weeks ago, nobody outside.
Yeah.
And
May 1st.
today,
Everybody go out.
we go outside. We went to Walmart. I got some new shirts and some pants for work, and the traffic was worse than I've ever seen it. There were people
because
everywhere. I've never
people
seen.
haven't been paying attention. They probably stopped watching the news.
I've never seen Walmart's parking lot full, and it was full. Walmart's
Really?
parking lot
disgusting.
was absolutely
And the
packed.
Starbucks drive-through,
Wrapped
it
around
was
the building.
wrapped all the way around
Was
the
everybody
shopping
wearing
center.
masks?
There was a lot of people.
Some people.
There was a lot of people. And then I talked to somebody yesterday that was talking about the how, like, in China, they've been to China or whatever before, and they said that even before this pandemic came out, and I'm pretty sure if you look at like videos and stuff pre-COVID-19, when you look at like South Korea and China and Hong Kong and stuff, a lot of people wear masks just because
Oh yeah, that's cultural.
part of
That's
the
a
culture.
cultural
Yeah.
thing for them. Yeah.
Well, that's what Dr. Fauci and them, they want that to be a social norm, regardless of anything, to have people have masks on.
No.
That makes sense. I don't understand. I would think that, like,
There's no point to that.
well, it's like
There's-
on Facebook, I'm part of the local police department's page, and they're always posting photos and videos of thefts or whatever from CCTV images and stuff like that. And if there's a lot of them that are caught because people recognize them via their social circles on Facebook. Now, if everybody's wearing masks,
Yeah.
that's going to
How
be
are
a
you gonna
lot
do that?
harder to identify people.
Well, hey, you saw that mask that I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna wear that mask and this hat when I go to the store from now on, and you're not gonna be able to. They're gonna think I'm robbing the place.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys want me to wear a mask? I'm gonna wear a mask. So, I'm just gonna shout out to
Did
the
you see-
people who are watching right now.
did
We got
you,
a couple
Yeah,
of,
welcome.
couple
Welcome
of
to the stream.
viewers. What's up?
Cool.
Say hey in the chat.
Yeah, if
got
you guys have any
somebody,
questions or you guys want to chime in, let us
Billickers
know.
and Commander Root. We're
If you want to ask any questions.
we are totally disorganized with all of this right now. We haven't got our flow yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we're kind of winging it. We've actually showed, like, if you looked at our past videos for the last hour, we've had 2 or 3 of these same episodes, but it's us. We were just testing it out because we haven't live streamed in a long time. And a lot of
It's
that
been
has to
Mhm.
do
it's a
with
couple
life
months.
changes and stuff that's happened. But also some of it's been um, we just haven't had the time. And since it's been so long, a lot of things have changed, software updates, loss of information, stuff like that. So it's like
Okay.
we had to, remake stream stuff, had to, you know, our family dynamics different, so we had to find, stuff to make this work. So we're hoping that
Okay.
this is going to be beneficial for us and for you guys, but something
That's the
that we're
plan.
really
I put
really
something in the podcast chat thing about the stay-at-home order.
okay. So as Ohioans slept and we're anticipating opening Ohio over the next 2 weeks, Governor Mike DeWine and Dr. Amy Acton issued a new order that included the extension of Ohio's stay-at-home order over through May
Through May
30th,
31st.
which is
You're at
May.
30th, and
Yeah.
then May 29th at 11:59.
Inside the order was a penalty of a $750 fine or 90 days in jail.
Now,
The
how do
act
you get the
the
fine there?
the act creates more uncertainty for Ohio's workers and businesses.
Are we going to get fined
So,
for going to
and
work?
I was told that this like addition to the order was not said in the press conference, and it was on page 7 of a 14
So
page document.
nobody's going to look at that.
No, who looks at page
Nobody's going to look
7?
at
Who gets
that. Well,
past the first 2 pages?
what the conference? Yeah, I mean exactly, and that's the thing is like there's so much misinformation, there's so much shit that they're holding back and they're not telling us, and then it's like the initial report the other day was that they're going to make everybody wear masks. That's going to be the thing.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Well, then it was going to
And
be
then they
originally
changed it
they rolled it
to
back saying only employees, but the stores
mhm,
can then tell you or you have to wear a mask to come in. Like,
yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
But a lot of them aren't going to say that because they don't want to lose business. They can't afford to lose business.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
the
I
thing
mean,
too.
if
Like a lot of people are already out of business,
yeah,
or they were counting on today to open up to stay afloat. That today was
and
going to be the day that they were going to be able to open up and
Mhm.
sell
well,
the
some
food that they've been
places did.
having
Like
in their freezer.
like
Some place they have
salons,
it stepped out for the next two
gyms.
weeks. Yeah, but gym, I think gyms don't open today, do they?
No,
Oh
they're
no,
still closed.
salons, gyms, barber shops, schools,
And
all of
regular
that has to
restaurants and stuff,
stay closed. Yeah, restaurants and bars also.
as far as
They
actual
can do
sitting down.
carry out, but they're not allowed to
Yeah,
sit in.
But hey,
for now.
Carmel's, you're allowed to carry out 2 margaritas with the alcohol in it.
I carried
So
out four.
there you go.
At the same
Yep.
time.
Yeah, but it's per entree. So if you order two
Oh.
entrees, you can carry out four margaritas.
Oh, it's 4 per
That's the way
entree.
you work around that. So you just do your orders,
2
and it's
per
like it
entree.
seems
Max.
weird that because they asked, do you want the straws in them so you can drink them in the car? I'm like, no.
Of course. Of course we do.
And I was talking to
What?
Jen because she's a cop, and I'm like, so what the hell would we do? She's like, well, you're not going to get pulled over right now unless you're doing something really dumb.
Yeah.
They don't
Drinking
want
a
you around.
margarita, I count as pretty
Yeah,
dumb
but
while
it's
you're
in a
driving.
styrofoam cup. You're not going to know.
But you're drinking while driving.
But you're not going to get drunk while you're driving. If you're just going home, then you get drunk at
If you
home.
chug it before you like start the
It would-
car.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're only a couple minutes away, okay. But I'm like, nah, I'm gonna avoid drinking that while I'm in the car.
Yeah, like whenever I take stuff to my sisters or to my dad's or something, if it's an already opened thing of alcohol, like a say I got margarita stuff and it was in a bottle, like a big
Yeah.
bottle, and it was already opened because I had had a margarita out of it already. I put it in the trunk. Like I don't even have the already opened one in my car where I can see it or anyone can see it. I
Yeah,
usually store
your
it in the trunk.
your uncle posted a picture I want to post or I want to show up here. It's pretty
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Um
His freaking Facebook
his
page
his
is
meme his meme it's
Have
okay,
you
that's
seen some of his stuff, Matt? Has Brandon
Oh yeah,
showed you?
Brandon shows me the stuff at work all the time.
so
Oh
here
I
it
my
won't get to
is.
see
god,
anymore.
So, dear
this
non-essential
dude.
employees, we the essentials know that you're coming back May 1st. We're happy to have you, but please understand. The highway has been backed up since you guys left, and the average speed everywhere has changed to 97 miles per hour. Please
I
don't
can
mess this
attest to
up.
that.
Thank you. And in all honesty, the only time I see the cops out are either an accident or
Uh-huh.
somebody's on the side of the road because a car broke down or a flat tire. Um, it's like I was on the way to work the other day and I rolled through a stop sign because there was nobody there, and I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
crap, because right across the street next to the bar was a police officer. Nothing.
And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
No,
he's
they're
like,
not going to mess with you.
no.
There's nobody around. You didn't cause harm. You didn't cause anybody else to be in danger or risk of getting in an accident. They're not. Because I talked to Jen. She's like, we're not going to mess with people. We don't want to get near anybody because you don't know. Because obviously, the coronavirus, it's a real thing. I mean,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
over exaggerated.
Oh
What?
Yeah.
the
Are
next
you
one up.
laughing at something he posted?
Yes, I don't want to share it, but it's political
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's bad.
I love my uncle dearly, but he's got no filter and does not care.
Oh wait, no, here, where is it? How do we get out of this?
Drop it into the podcast text channel for later because I would like to look at it when I can actually see it a little bit clearer. But for now, just throw it up on the stream.
Yeah, I'll do hold on. Desktop. So I'll I'll put it up. So yeah, I'll just let you guys read it.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
but I mean, there's been a lot of controversy on him lately. With everybody's seeing the compilation videos of him on stage with multiple families and stuff,
kids,
and he's
yeah.
got little little boys, little girls, where he's got them tight. He's got the Cobra Clutch on them, and he's sniffing their hair.
Cobra Clutch.
Cobra
he's
Clutch. Oh,
he's
like the
sniffing their
black.
hair.
Where were we at? Was it Kroger?
Yeah.
We used to see them all the time.
Yeah, there was a
Cobra
couple,
Clutch.
where she, the city she grew up in. When I would go visit her, and we'd go to Kroger,
This couple was
there was
always
this
there.
couple that we saw all the time. The dude would just sit there with his hand wrapped around that chick's neck, like the back of her neck, and we called it the Cobra Clutch. So
Yeah, he Cobra clutched her the whole way into
creeper
the store
clutch.
every time,
yeah,
and around the store, everywhere they went.
Wow.
He had her head by the back of her neck, and I got worried for a while there. I was like, man, is he abusing her? Like,
Maybe she likes it rough. I don't know.
scary. I wouldn't want to be Cobra clutched. So now we joke about that all the time.
Yeah.
We'll randomly grab each other's neck, the back of their neck, and be like, Cobra clutch.
Cobra Clutch. It's funny. It's funny.
Hey, whatever you guys like to do in the bedroom, whatever. That's not for this.
Oh gosh.
So speaking of bedroom stuff, we talked about the Skinwalker Ranch. We talked about shadow figures. We talked about COVID-19.
Things that gave us nightmares as children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there anything that like maybe our viewers might want us to chime in on? I know we got a few people hanging out,
Yeah, 'cause
watching.
I think we're planning on eventually. We're going to actually prepare when we do future episodes. We're going to talk about the Skinwalker Ranch kind of more in more detail, go into some of the some deeper into the stories and some of the happenings, and maybe kind of pair that with some other stuff because the Southwest, the desert Southwest, and that part of the country,
There's a
there's
lot
a lot
of
of
weird
stuff that
Mhm.
happens out there. There's my alarm going off.
So my cousin was in the military, and he actually went to Area 51, and he was like sworn that he couldn't talk about any of it
But
at all.
I remember that was when your uncle got married, and I remember him saying, though, that Wright Patterson is really the real Area 51.
That's where they keep the
And he said that he would rather live out there than live where we live because we're too close to that base. He told
that
me
makes
that.
me feel really good.
Yeah. And
Right?
I had a professor at college down at Sinclair.
Like you literally drive past it like every day.
Yeah, twice there and back. But that college professor told us all kinds of stuff that happened at the mound, and
Oh
that
yeah,
at a
the mound
certain
was
Which
date
is
that
where I
real bad.
grew up.
and
I grew
and
up a mile from the mound facility.
and then
Yeah,
they moved that all that stuff over to right pat when the mound was decommissioned.
yeah, they sealed up the lower levels of the mound with concrete. You can't get in there. Supposedly, still to this day. I mean, the lower levels are so radioactive and full of.
My junior year, I was in a local history class and we took field trips. And we took a field trip to the mound. We weren't allowed off the bus. They drove us around the facility, like down the little alleyways and streets and things there, and showed us, like pointed out buildings and told us what happened there. Because it was still 70% top secret, the
Yeah,
facility was.
yeah. My
I'm
dad
like,
used to have meetings there when he worked for the city, um, and when they would go there, they were escorted from site to site that they would go to. And he said when he would go there were guys in full fatigues with submachine guns patrolling the entire perimeter.
That's
That's
yeah.
crazy.
crazy.
But I'm like, how exciting of a field trip is that though?
But
To
I
like
also
stay on a
heard too that
To
bus.
see all
they
that.
did a full replica building per building, square foot, and even like the topography of where it was built in another state. It was either in West Virginia or Virginia of the mound in case um, some spy espionage or like during World War II or something like that. If
Mm,
like a terrorist something would have happened, they had two facilities that looked exactly the same. That way, you know, it was like a diversion, but it was literally identical. Like they built it on the same type of a mountain so that it would match up. So if like
A
an
mountain. A hill.
air crew's going over and they look down like, oh
yeah,
well, they said it was going to be on a ridge like this and it was between these two mountains or whatever. They'd be like, all right, that's where it is. Boom, but it was the wrong one. So
that's crazy.
yeah,
Um, did you guys hear about the giant that they found in the mound?
No.
Giants. That's right up my alley.
Oh man, we'd like to talk about giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Where's
was
it
a
started?
farm. There was a farm back in the day near the mound, and a farmer had dug up a giant, like the skeleton of a giant. He was like over 9 feet tall.
Well, you know
Did
why?
they?
Did
Who
he,
swooped in and took the remains?
it was
I
Smithsonian.
don't know, probably.
either the Smithsonian, the Vatican, or the military.
Yeah,
But that makes a lot of sense because of the
because of who built the
mound,
mound.
because of the
It's the
actual
Native
physical mound that's
Americans.
there. Because you got, less than 500 miles away is this great circle mound in Newark, Ohio, and then you have
I wish I lived there.
this.
I grew up there
Then you have the
too.
Serpent Mound, not too much farther away from that, and there there's a lot
Yeah, it
of
says giant humans discovered in the Miamisburg Mound.
giant humans.
Mary Abbott on
Confirmation
YouTube
of a
says hi,
species
peeps.
of human.
Hello,
Who said
hello.
that?
It's
Mary
probably my
Abbott.
mom.
It's his mom.
Oh, that's your mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, mom. No, you're not my mom. You're somebody's mom.
Yeah, it says giant humans discovered in the Miamisburg Mound. Confirmation of a species of human that thrived in North America before the Greeks.
Huh.
It's the Nephilim.
Look, guys, we're gonna talk about some weird stuff. If you're watching this, uh, we're gonna go into some weird things that you may not have heard of before. You may have heard about, but like, oh, that's stupid. But there's a lot of interesting, we'll call it information or evidence out there about some of these things being real.
And some of
That
it's coming to light, and even the military or religious figures are coming out and verifying the information. And what they're trying to say or use it as a means to enhance the genetic structure or the genome of, like, let's say for the military, for like super soldiers, if they can create
right.
a serum out of this, this giant DNA or whatever, um, they can make their soldiers stronger, faster, resistant to to damage. And there's stories, as one here. It's called the story of the Kandahar giant. So in Kandahar, Afghanistan, there was a group of black ops soldiers that were doing normal routine patrols. They were actually looking for Osama bin Laden, and they came across a village who would
Oh, yes, I found it.
who would go and leave sacrifices at the mouth of this cave. So they would always bring like goats and livestock, and they said it was to honor their god or honor their deity. And basically, these soldiers were like, "All right, they're doing that to give Bin Laden his food, so let's go get him." So they went after it, and as they got to the mouth of this cave, they noticed this god awful stench, and so they start going against this cave or going up against this cave, and um, as they got closer, they started noticing that they got like headaches or they got like vertigo almost, and then before they knew it, this 15-foot, red-haired, super pale person came out. This giant. He had like a loincloth on, barefoot, and he had this big like halberd pike as like a weapon, and he speared one of the guys right through the chest and picked him up. And these guys are literally shooting this thing in the face for like 5 or 6 seconds. You got a group of 5 guys with M4s and M16s. One guy I think had a 50 caliber machine gun shooting this thing in the face before it finally died. Um, well, when they did that, um, they had a CH-47 Chinook helicopter come in and pick it up, and the pilot of that um, literally went on an interview and said that he, again, back to our talk about Wright Pat, flew it back to Wright Patterson Air Force Base. And there's been multiple sightings, mostly in the Middle East, of live giants. And
Yeah, so think about all the tunnels and the mountains and stuff there. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a subterranean world that we live in, that we live on,
yes.
because
And
there's
then
a
if you
lot
think
under our
about,
feet.
there's a lot of caves and stuff. They call it the Chicana.
Yeah.
Um, it's an underground cave system in South America, and it's like they're all connected at all these ancient South American sites. And it's not just South America, but it's North America, it's in Europe, Africa, Asia, and a lot of these sites, there's always a Catholic church built on top of it.
You got to wonder, you know,
And then
there.
what's that? What's is it called the Hypogeum on Malta, the island of
Hypogea.
Malta? There's a story of a woman that was going in there, and I don't know if they were mapping it or at the time there was a group of school students and their teacher that went down in the Hypogeum for like a tour, and they actually got lost, and they were lost for like days until they just said, okay, they're dead because we don't know where they're at because it's so extensive. But this woman, as part of I think it was part of the search party, said she came open to this massive like void or chasm, and on the other side, she said there are massively tall, anywhere from 10 to 20 feet tall, pale, blonde hair, blue eyed beings that were urging her to come over, and that she would be at peace if she came over to their side.
Nah, I'm
And
good.
You're going
she said
under.
she freaked out and left. Um,
Yeah.
and shortly after that, they shut it down to where only scientists and archaeologists can go in there. But it's closed to the public. You can't get in there. They might have little tour groups, but most of the entrances deeper into the caves have been concreted over, where you can't progress down into the bowels of that complex.
Hmm.
It's some pretty pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. There's a. It's like I said, man, that the 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 world as we know it is just a small part of the overall picture.
Yes. Yeah, most of what people see are what they see um, from their devices, their TVs,
Yeah.
their computers, and most of that, unfortunately, is social media and mainstream media, and a lot of that is all controlled content, whether it be
By the
political
CIA.
news.
I put a a thing in the chat. It's a news article about the skeleton found in 1809 in Miamisburg.
Yes, this is
It's from the
Mimersburg,
Louisville,
Ohio, December
Ohio.
23rd. A
Look,
discovery,
it's
the greatest scientific
Oh,
anti-dates
okay.
Adam.
interest was made when a pickaxe with the when the pickaxes of Edward W. Something Hart,
Gebhardt.
Gebhardt, and Edward
Gebhardt
Kaufman of
Huh.
this
That's a big name in
something
Miamisburg.
disturbed the long
Place
repose of a skeleton that had been buried for no one. Something
can
tell
tell how many thousand years.
yeah. It's kind of cut off, but
That's weird.
Yeah, it's
I've
all it
never heard
showed
of
in,
that
like, the
before.
preview of
yeah,
it.
Um,
Never?
no, but that's interesting because that
It says
happened.
the body that okay, here's the extended version of it. I see the whole page now. It says,
It's
skeleton that had been
pre-endemic.
buried for
You see that?
no one can tell how many thousands of years. The body that once proudly strode the earth, possessed of the possessed the living strength of a giant, with the bones just found near its framework. Something it's kind of the crease of a page, so it's
yeah.
kind of hard to see it.
That's
It
kind of
says
wild.
was history was given any record. The skeleton is that of a human being who in life must have been immense in size. The face is almost gorilla like in its angularity. The jawbones are tremendous, and the teeth have been pronounced by local dentist Dr. Something to have as strong and perfect as he has ever seen.
Hmm. Hey, it's pre-Adam, pre-endemic stuff, man.
It says something mile from town when the pick of Edward Gebhardt struck the skull. A careful investigation by the two men who, from previous discoveries of the mound builder relics, knew enough of the importance of the find to at once set about unearthing the skeleton, revealed the rest of the bones, forming an almost complete skeleton. The body had evidently been buried in a sitting posture, for the knees were drawn up and the head had fallen between them. Beside the
Wow.
skeleton was a small flat stone about 3 inches long and 2 inches wide, with a hole drilled through one end, apparently for the fitting of a handle. The use of this stone is not apparent to the local scientists. Some think it was a charm buried with the body, while others believe it to be a weapon of the dead man. Although, why such a giant as this prehistoric individual evidently was should carry to unimposing a club as a question. It is important that this stone, so clearly fashioned by hand, there's a black mark, was forged, I think. No, was found in close proximity to the skeleton, for it settles once all doubts as to whether the great skull originally adorned the body of a man or of a mammoth monkey. At present, the bones are on exhibition here. They are serving as a star attraction, for the people are very proud of the fact that once in this neighborhood there lived a race of prehistoric giants who erected the largest, and then it goes somewhere else. I don't know. It's not on the rest of it's not on this page.
Oh yeah, so there's some that were found at the earthworks in Newark.
Mhm.
And it's
They
from
think they're the ones that constructed the mounds. It wasn't the mound builders, it was whoever these people were,
yeah, so this one
these
says
giants.
from May 14th, 1885, in Licking County, Ohio, one of the most important discoveries of the many made in the prolific field of Indian Mound near Homer, Ohio, was made near a few days ago. Beneath a small mound and 5 feet below the normal surface, five gigantic skeletons with their feet to the east were found in a grave with a stone floor. Amounts of buried bones, wood charcoal are plentiful, together with numerous stone vessels and weapons. The skeletons are of enormous size, the head of one being the size of a wooden bucket. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, the most striking articles beside the skeletons were finely finished stone pipe, the bowl being large and polished and engraved with considerable care in a simple way. The grave or the figures are birds and beasts, a knife shaped like a sickle reversed, and having a wooden handle held by leather thongs and a kettle holding 6 quarts. Those who know say this find is one of the oldest in America and perhaps the most valuable. And then the actual news article says Ohio, May 4th. Licking County has been for years a favorite field. I can't see the whole thing. Um, Favorite field for students of Indian history. There being here to something forts and scores of mounds. It's too cut off. I can't see the whole article.
Yeah, it's driving me nuts when they do that, when you can't see, like, old news articles when it's, like, the crease of a page or they continue it on another page,
But
but
see,
they don't
there's
show you.
here's another one of so from March 5th, 1894. Um, Recent discoveries near the Serpent Mound, Ohio. Former Warren Cohen of Hillsborough, Ohio, while fox hunting, recently discovered several ancient graves. They were situated upon a high point of land in Highland County, Ohio, about a mile from the famous Serpent Mound, where Professor Putnam of Harvard made interesting discoveries. As soon as the weather permitted, Cowan excavated several of these graves. The graves were made of large limestone slabs, 2.5 to 3 feet in length and a foot wide. These were set on edge about a foot apart. Similar slabs covered the graves. A single one, somewhat larger, was at the head and another at the foot. The top of the grave was 2 feet below the present surface. Upon opening up one of the graves, a skeleton upwards of 6 feet in length was brought to light. There were a number of stone hatches, beads, and ornaments, and a peculiar workmanship near the right arm. Several large flint spears and arrowheads among the ribs gave evidence that the warrior had died in battle. In another grave, the skeleton of a man equally as large. The right leg had been broken during life, and the bones had grown together. The protuberances at this point of union was as large as an egg. The and the limb was bent like a bow. At the feet lay a skull of some enemy or slave. Several pipes and pendants were near the shoulders. In other graves, Cowan made equally interesting finds. It seemed that the region was populated by fairly intelligent and large people, and that the Serpent Mound was probably an object of worship. Near the grave is a large field which broken implements, fragments of pottery, burned stone give evidence of prehistoric village site. Crazy
It's
stuff.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the blog or something where I found the link to that article, the person in the blog said that the reports that the person was like 9 feet tall that they found at the Miamisburg Mound.
Well, it's like L.A. Marzulli went to Catalina Island off the coast of California, and he found uh, photo evidence of an archaeologist there who dug up skeletons starting at 9 feet and going up. And when he dug a little bit further into it, the Smithsonian actually went in and confiscated most of the material. And a lot of the photos, even though they're on display at the local museum down there, have been photoshopped and cut to where you can't see the skeletons. You just see the people working above the ground. So he's one that, if you look into his research, he's currently doing a video and book series called "On the Trail of the Nephilim," and
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first Thor movie when they take all Jane's stuff.
yeah,
Shield comes
basically,
in.
Anytime you
yeah.
have something new, they come take it.
Well, that and something that goes against the narrative of uh, what documented science or
Oh
the
yeah.
belief structure for the common people are.
And that's why I liked America Unearthed until he sold out.
I don't think he necessarily sold out. I think he got wrapped up in what
Freemasonry.
he believed the Freemasons were all about.
That's true.
So, and that right there is a crazy topic that it's like a spider web. You start here and then it just goes out
Oh
all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've covered a lot of different things, kind of a broad
Should we
I think
should
Matt's
we
trying
end
to
this
leave.
one?
sweep.
Should we end this one and start an episode 2?
Is the old lady like, get off?
No, she hasn't said anything. I just we're at 90 minutes right now.
Oh, true. It's a really long one.
I mean, our target was
And-
between 30 to 60 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
we can keep going. That's fine.
Well, how about this? Everybody watching, we're going to go ahead and end this episode. And we're going to have a little intermission, fill up our drinks, go to the bathroom, and then we'll start another one. You guys down for that?
If Matt's
Yeah.
got to go.
No, I can do that. I just gotta deal with some kids for a couple minutes.
Yeah. So we'll
Ooh, we can get our kids off to bed, and then I can go downstairs instead of in this horrible place that I
like.
look like a ghost in.
I was gonna say I like that place. That's where I sleep.
Well, I mean, I like it, but I don't like the lighting in here.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm like blinded.
Okay.
I
Well,
need
yeah.
some
So,
mood lighting.
guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. If you could, please please subscribe. Currently, if you look at our stream window down there at the bottom, you got our Twitch hyperlink. I don't think it works, but if you type that in, you'll go to our Twitch channel, and then you got our YouTube channel. If we get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, we could change that big old random thing to our actual channel name. So that'll be easier for people to follow and understand and search.
Yeah.
So please please
Do it.
subscribe,
Do it
please
now.
follow, and that'll make everything easier for us. It'll make things easier for you. And please comment on the videos, good, bad, ugly, constructive criticism. If there's stuff you guys want us to talk about,
Questions?
yeah, just feel free. We'll we want that interaction. That's one reason why we kind of wanted to do this, because traditionally, if you look at all our videos, they're all video games. And
Yep.
even during some of our streams and stuff, we talk about all kinds of random stuff. And, we kind of go all over the place beyond just what we're playing. But this is something that we've wanted to do is kind of branch out and talk about a bunch of different topics. And
Right.
so tonight was really just like a test, but you guys enter your comments, enter your questions, and we got we're gonna take a 30-minute break, and then we're gonna come back do episode 2, and we'll see where that goes. And if you guys leave us some comments on this video, maybe we'll break into the stuff you guys want to hear talk about.
Yeah. Something you want to talk about, something weird. Doesn't even have to be weird. It can be anything, but
Well, almost anything.
well,
Anything that doesn't violate the terms and conditions of YouTube and or Twitter. So again, like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you guys in about a half an hour. So I'm gonna do.
yes.
Peace
How
out.
do I do this? I'm gonna do the be right back screen. I'm gonna
Put a little outro music on for us.
Something non-copyrighted.
Yeah.
Is that the end of that news one?
Are we still live?
Yeah. I
all right,
think
all
so.
right, all right, bye. We're leaving now. See ya.